In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. All praise is due to Allah the Almighty, the Lord of the worlds. May Allah's peace, mercy and the blessings be upon His final and last messenger, Muhammad. And may Allah's peace, mercy and the blessings be upon each one of you watching this episode. Today's episode, my dear brothers and sisters, is intended to be the beginning of a series of episodes on the Islamic perspective on sexual relations. So, stay tuned. At the outset, dear viewers, let me make it very clear that Islam is a way of life that goes in accordance with human nature and reality. Islam provides practical and convenient solutions to humanity in line with day-to-day life and the needs of humanity. And Islam removes any hardships and difficulties. And this is why when you open the Noble Quran in the second chapter in verse 185, you read, Allah wills for you ease, and He does not will difficulty. And when we study Islam, one finds out that Islam considers sexual urges and relations an essential human need, which is not to be suppressed or stifled, rather satisfied in a respectful and civilized manner. So it is not something looked down upon disdainfully or something that the person must be averse to, because it's a natural thing and a natural matter that cannot be denied. And Allah the Almighty created such urges for us for noble aims, and so that we can channel them in a healthy and in a constructive manner. Having said that, it's essential to know that Islam has prescribed a set of laws and regulations by which such urges are administered and controlled, and through which one can satisfy such urges while being chaste and elevated in character. In Islam, such needs and urges are to be satisfied through a valid legal marriage between the husband and the wife. And this is why, as Muslims, we view marriage as a blessing and a sign from Allah the Almighty. And when we read the Noble Quran, we find that Allah mentions in chapter Ar-Rum, verse 21, and of His signs is that He created for you of yourselves spouses, that you may find rest in them, and He has made between you amity and mercy. Surely in that are indeed signs for people who reflect. It is worth mentioning that among the ultimate noble aims of marriage in Islam is to achieve psychological and emotional stability for both the wife and the husband. Allah the Almighty mentions in the Noble Quran in verse 187 in the second chapter, and they are a body cover for you, i.e., you enjoy the pleasure and the happiness and the warmth and the comfort of living with them, and you are the same for them. With that in mind, it's also very important to highlight the fact that Islam protects and safeguards both the individual and the society by prohibiting everything which excites the sexual desires outside the parameters of marriage, for fear that a person would fall into committing rape or fornication. Such illegitimate relationships are viewed as a disobedience to the commands of Allah the Almighty. And of course, such unlawful physical relationships would result in the spread of STDs or sexually transmitted diseases in the society. And also, such unlawful physical relationships would result in the proliferation of illegitimate children who have no parents to raise them ethically and morally. and who would then emerge in the society as a group who harbor hate and animosity towards others. Allah the Almighty clearly stated in the Holy Quran, "And come not near the unlawful sexual intercourse. For indeed, verily, such are a great sin and an evil way." In conclusion, dear viewers, now we can see the stance of Islam when it comes to sexual urges and sexual relations. Islam acknowledges man's innate urges and natural instincts. Islam shows a great deal of consideration on adhering to moral values, high moral values, and modesty and decency. And finally, Islam has laid down practical, social, psychological, and legal rules to manage the sexual urges and desires, and at the same time to protect the individual, the society, and entire humanity from moral dissolution and indecency. These are the practical teachings and directives of Islam which are compatible with contemporary life. So, my dear brothers and sisters, a Muslim should avoid and stay away from any haram or unlawful thing, and be patient and not ask questions like, why isn't Allah answering my prayers? Know this for sure, my dear brothers and sisters. Allah the Almighty, the most merciful, only does what is best for you. Allah the Almighty makes it very clear in the Noble Quran in the 2nd chapter in verse 216. But perhaps you hate a thing and it's good for you, and perhaps you love a thing and it's bad for you, and Allah knows while you know not. My dear brothers and sisters, it's strongly and very recommended that we adopt the habit of waking up in the middle of the night and just pray 2 units of prayer, 2 rak'ahs, and recite the following dua. O Allah, grant us from our wives and offspring comfort to our eyes, and make us a good example for the righteous. We ask Allah the Almighty to make it easy for our single sisters and brothers who are looking to get married to the righteous husbands and wives who will raise their status in this life and in the hereafter. With this, we come to the end of today's episode. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.